Hey guys, I'm here. Let's get technical. Did you know that the average millennial takes over 25,000 selfies in his or her life? It's one of the most popular... Oh, one sec, let me just post this to my story. But in the midst of all these duck faces and Kardashians, have you ever thought to yourself, what is the history of the selfie? What is the first selfie and how did it get to how it is today? Well, today we'll answer that question by looking at the evolution of the selfie. So a good place to start is, what is the first selfie? Well, that depends. As you might have guessed, what constitutes a selfie is pretty loose, so depending on your source, you might get back a couple of different things. I'll just go as far back as I can. The first self-portrait was made by a guy named Parmigianino in 1524. It was an oil painting of himself in a mirror in his studio. There are two types of mirrors, concave mirrors and convex mirrors. Concave mirrors curve in, sort of like a bowl, and convex mirrors bulge out, sort of like a ball. In this painting, Parmigianino is looking into a convex mirror. We also see his hand near the outside of the frame, really add into that selfie vibe. You know what? It kind of looks like a photo taken by those new Snapchat spectacles. It's amazing the similarities between this photo and the modern day selfie. For example, Parmigianino was 21 years old when he took this selfie, a typical age for a selfie taker. And since it was made, the painting has changed hands many times, and many people have seen it. The OG social media. And with that, we are thrust into the age of the drawn selfie. Leonardo da Vinci sketched this lit selfie in 1512. It's known as the portrait of a man in red chalk. Leo was 60, by the way, when he made this selfie, which makes sense, because if you're a selfie taker over 40, you're empirically more likely to be male. Next, we have Rembrandt in 1630, whose etched selfie is famous for being, well, duck-faced. Rembrandt is famous for making tons of other pictures in the style, even other selfies, but this one is particularly famous because of that sweet, sweet duck face. I guess we now know that Rembrandt wasn't Rembland. I'm so sorry. Everyone told me I shouldn't do that. But what is life if you can't make cringy puns? Hashtag deep. The first photographic selfie was taken in 1839 by a guy named Robert Cornelius, who is credited on Wikipedia as, and I kid you not, an American pioneer of photography and lamp manufacturer. To take this infamous selfie, Cornelius had to set up his camera in his family store in Philadelphia, take off the lens cap, run into frame, stand there for a minute, and then put the lens cap back on. Can you imagine having to stand still for a minute to take a selfie? I mean, that would be like... Side note, Robert Cornelius raised 8 children. What have you done today? Famous Vincent van Gogh selfie from 1889, yeah! And with that, we enter what I like to call the Lowkey Age of Selfies. There were no big advancements, and we were just kind of stalling until we got to the turn of the century. It is important to note, though, that a lot of these selfies were taken with the help of mirrors. It's kind of like a forced motif. Sure, there were a couple of handheld selfies like the ones we know today, but those weren't common at all, because, well, old cameras were big and were heavy, and as shown in the photo, took 2 hands to hold. Also, I want to shout out this JFK selfie. Beachy vibes, my man. The first selfies taken on lightweight handheld mobile devices were taken on Game Boys, like this one. They have a high-quality 256x224 camera, so you know it's Team Crispy approved. The first camera phone was released in November of 2000. It was the Sharp JSH04, and granted, the camera wasn't great, but it definitely pioneered the technology. It was also around this time when the word selfie was created. Now, as Ben Zimmer for Slate explains, quote, it's very likely that there was no single moment when the word was created. No, selfie, right? Like, it's not like someone was magically screaming, selfie! But we don't know exactly when it's from, we do know where it's from. Australia. In Australia around that time, it was popular to add the suffix IE to things. Like someone from Australia is an Aussie, or a barbecue is a Barbie. No, I'm not kidding. Thus, if you combine the word self with the suffix IE, you get selfie. The first phones with a front-facing camera were the Motorola A835 and the Sony Ericsson Z1010. Man, how phone names have changed. These phones were released in the second half of 2003. And now that that was established, one thing led to another, and selfies blew up. As this Google Trend Graph shows, between 2013 and early 2014, selfies went mainstream. Selfies are unsurprisingly most popular in Australia and America. Selfies have been all over the place in recent years. The most retweeted tweet of all time is Ellen DeGeneres' Oscar selfie. National Selfie Day is June 21st. Yeah, that's a thing apparently. 50% of male college students and 77% of female college students have said that they've shared selfies on Snapchat. On the date this video was made, over 209 million pictures have been posted to hashtag selfie on Instagram. 14% of selfies have filters, and 36% of selfie photographers have confessed that they've altered or edited a selfie. And, as you probably know, selfie was Oxford's infamous word of the year in 2013. Currently, everyone from political figures to celebrities to everyday people take selfies. Selfies, whether you like them or not, are part of popular culture, and for good reason. Not only are we innately fascinated with ourselves, humans are also very social animals. We have to share ourselves and our lives with other people, and other people have to do the same with us. So, the next time you hit that button at the bottom of your phone, remember the rich and extensive history behind these digital self-portraits. Until next time, thanks for watching, DFTBA, and explore on. Congrats to Sugar, Spice, and a Pizza Slice for winning the Bruce biography giveaway. I think I sent you a DM, but if you didn't get it, could you send me an email? That'd be awesome, and we'll get it shipped out to you right away. Thanks and congrats! This video is part of a massive collaboration between a bunch of educational YouTubers. Together we look at the evolution of amazing things in our world. Draw Curiosity asks, why did two sexes evolve? Conjecture asks, why do facial expressions evolve? Alliterative asks, why do word meanings evolve? ARTexplains asks, why would land animals evolve returning to sea? Soliloquy asks, why does homosexuality evolve? And of course, I myself look at how the selfie evolved. If any or all of those topics sound interesting to you, then boom, there's an end card on screen right now to a playlist for you to check them out. There's also some other shenanigans on there, like a sub button and some other videos. See you next time, guys. Bye.